All right. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the 5G Learn and Drive event. I'm Richard Stevens from IDC, and I'm going to be the moderator. And I want to tell you at the outset of this event that we do have live video on this session, so you will be recorded. If you have any problem with that, you can let us know or disconnect. The questions will be handled by the posting on the chat box in the Zoom chat. So if you have questions, write them in the chat box, and our Alessandra will let us know if there are questions that can be answered by responding to the chat box, or we will, if they're for the speakers, we will take them at the end of their session if time is permitted. If you do want to say something, you can always raise your hand. And again, if you have any technical issues, you can write in the chat box or contact the people that sent you the invitation, and they'll try and help you out with that. So what's going to happen today is we're going to learn a little bit about 5G Eve in 4 sessions from our coordinator, Mauro Baldi from Telecom Italia, the architecture from Claudio Casetti from CNIT, and we're gonna hear a little bit about the applications and tools being developed by SMEs from Maurizio Cecchi from Innovation Pew. And we're gonna learn a little bit how you guys in the audience and other SMEs and companies that you might know might get connected to infrastructures like 5G, even 5G itself. Then what we're going to do is go into a session where you can collaborate. We're going to let you talk a little bit about 5G. I'm sorry, about 5G technologies. So we're going to hear from initially 4 SMEs that are actually using 5G technologies in their deployments. And then we're going to let you come in and talk a little bit about what you do. And we're going to use a mural feature, which my colleague Alessandra will show you as we move into that session. We will share the link here in the text box. It's in the invitation, and we'll have a chance to talk about some of the features of 5G and what you guys think are important application domains, and what kinds of new innovative ways of dealing with your supply chain and business channels exist there. So without further ado, because the time is what it is, I'm going to go to our first speaker, who's the coordinator of the 5G project, Mauro Baldi from Telecom Italia. Mauro, you can take the floor and share your screen. Your microphone is off. Perfect. Okay, we can see that.
Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to this 5G Learn and Drive event. I will go through some slides to show you what is 5G, what are our objectives, what we have done so far. 5G is a very large project that started in 2018. It's coming to an end actually in June this year after 3 years of activity. You may see that there are many countries involved in the project. Italy, France, Spain, and Greece are hosting sites where we evaluate 5G solutions, but we have also partners from Germany, Poland, and Romania. We have also very big players, one big operator for every country, Telecom Italia in Italy, Telefonica in Spain, Orange in France, and OTE Greece. We have also very important suppliers, Nokia, Ericsson, and a selection of the most important European research centers and universities and SMEs. So it's a very large consortium with also a very clear objective. When we started 3 years ago, there were essentially two separate words. Industries that were starting the process of digitalization of their activities on one end, and telecommunication companies offering 5G. There was the need of putting these words together in some way, creating these validation platforms, and we started to do that in an agile way, trying to prepare the ground for the evolution of 5G that, you know, at the beginning was essentially mobile broadband, and now is becoming more and more the widely accepted solution for mission critical or for low latency applications. What is the platform we are talking about and about which you will have more details later? So it's essentially a set of layers, as I would say every platform, that is split into two distinct parts. So there is a common 5G functional blocks layers that are here reported in orange. And there are some functional blocks that are based essentially on different technologies, implementation, and sites, I would say. So the portal is our window towards the outside world. It's a very well-designed portal. Let's say, was a very important achievement of our project. And inside the portal that is available online, you can see that there are very different tools, from the monitoring tools to the testing modules to the diagnostic tools. This portal is southbound connected with the 5G Interworking Framework. That is a very important addition to, I will say, the normal 5G architectural layout. So it's a way to interconnect our 4 sites. So you will be able to run your experiment in a sort of multi-site approach thanks to this interworking framework. Below you have actually a more standard set of solutions that are typical of the 5G network, so I won't comment that so much. Some very important features of our implementation. So first of all, we have an intent-based interface. Through this portal, also the verticals or the SMEs, as it will be your case, that are not so familiar with the technology, they can very easily interact with the platform. There is the multi-domain slicing and orchestration, and I've already talked about it a little bit. But I would like to stress in particular the points 3 and 4. So point 3 is the performance diagnostics. So we are not only offering you the opportunity of running your applications on our platform, but also to evaluate the results that you will achieve by using it. And this has been taken forward very much in these very latest months, because we have also opened some very important work in groups in ETSI, in particular in the INT technical committee, exactly on this goal. And finally, we are also considering the Openness Framework. You know that there is a lot of hype in technology these days on these aspects. And even if not all our sites are based on open frameworks. Some of them are actually this way. This is the roadmap. Actually, we are, as I was saying, almost at the end of the project. So we are coming to an end in 5 months from now. We have almost achieved all what you can see on this slide. We have also interacted quite a lot, as you may see at the bottom part of the slide, with other projects. And we are now interacting also quite a lot with SMEs. There were also other events, for example, with our Italian SMEs in this autumn. And this is a specific objective of our project. So we have to be usable. We have to be open to you. And this is, I would say, also an objective, but also, I would say, a very important attitude that we had since the beginning. We have shown our platform almost everywhere since the beginning of the project. And now that we are in the phase of the deployment, we can say that this objective has been also quite importantly achieved. So very few words about the different facilities that we have all around Europe. So starting from France in alphabetical order, France is a site that is actually split into different locations: in Paris, Châtillon, in Evercom premises, and in Nokia premises, in Beacon premises, and everything is connected together through the Orange Châtillon exchange zone. And you may see quite clearly here two important aspects. So the first one is the interworking layer that you can see in the top of the slide. We are interfacing with the 5G portal, but we are also interfacing with the other 5G sites. And you can also see that in many implementations, also in Poland, that I forgot to mention, there is the openness that I have mentioned before. In Greece, we have a similar layout. Here it is quite split into 3 parts. So we have a Nokia-based IoT platform. We have an Ericsson-based robotics set of applications. And we have finally the big data and analytics platform provided by Wings. And also you can see here a set of use cases that we are internally developing in Greece, but also together with other projects in ICT19 core. In Spain, we have, well, actually, it's not exactly in alphabetical order, sorry about that. In Spain, we have also here a very important set of use cases that are run into the five tonic environment. That you are Spanish, you should know it very well. Five tonic is I would say, a sort of consortium of partners that are gathering together in Madrid and that are providing 5G core orchestration and MEC in a very important set of deployments. And also here we have a set of verticals that are working with us, and also some SMEs that are already experiencing the usage of the platform. Finally, the Italian site facility is based in Turin, is based in Telecom Italia labs. It's in cooperation with some partners like Municipality of Turin, Ericsson Italy, RS2T, and so on. It's also one very important implementation because of 2 reasons. The first one is that we are also using Telecom Italia commercial network. So it's a non-standalone implementation of 5G, the one that we are now running in Turin. But this is a very peculiar and specific feature of the Turin site. And the second one is that we are also here in Turin open to the lab environment and also using some orchestration facilities provided both by Ericsson and by CNIT. Professor Casetti is here and will talk about this much more in detail later on. Okay, and so you can see that we are covering almost all the very famous and familiar set of applications in 5G. You remember probably very well the triangle of user services in 5G. We are not so much covering the mobile broadband, but due to the reason that I told you at the beginning, and instead we are covering almost all the other aspects, not only by ourselves, but also interacting with a series of other projects in which maybe you are also involved or interested, and that will actually last much longer than 5G. One important issue is that the platform of 5G will be sustainable and will be maintained also after the closure of the project. Obviously, without the support of the partners in 5G, but we have a precise objective of making it usable and workable also after the official end of the project. That concludes my very high-level initial presentation. Of course, if you have comments or questions, you can of course try to answer, and here are the details of our key people in the project that can also answer your question later on according to the specific topic you are interested in. That's all from my side.
Mauro, thank you very much. That's in a nutshell what 5G is doing. And now we're going to take a little bit deeper dive into the architecture and how SMEs can best take advantage of that with Claudio. Claudio Casetti from CNIT is going to tell us about the platform. Claudio, please go ahead. We can see your screen.
You can see my screen? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So thank you for the introduction. And I would like to now walk you through some of the features that are available on the 5G portal that Mauro already introduced in his first presentation. Now, I'm basically going to just recap very quickly how the 5G portal works, and then I'm going to talk about the various roles that are foreseen for whoever uses the 5G portal, and then I'll quickly walk you through the 5G testing cycle. Okay, here in this picture, you already see very, in a high level detail, I would say, the structure of the 5G architecture, which is very similar to what Mauro showed before. At the top, you have the front end, which is the portal that allows you to run your experiments, and below it, we have besides the backend, we have the interworking layer. The interworking layer is an essential part of the 5G architecture because it provides a logical abstraction that allows the portal to be unaware of the different underlying technologies, and basically allows you to run parallel and independent tests using a common front end and accessing the facilities of the various 5G sites that Mauro Baldi listed earlier. There are three main features that are supported by the interworking layer. There's secure connectivity, so that your data are always secure when they are exchanged between the sites and the controlling framework. And then there is the possibility also of having QoS-based connectivity, so that whenever you need low bandwidth performance, we just use best effort connectivity, whereas when you need high bandwidth performance, depending on the experiment, of course, it can route your data onto high bandwidth, low latency connections. Then there's the multi-site network service orchestrator, which is basically what allows you to create slides, deploy the slides, and so access the VNFs that are hosted on the various sites and on the 5G catalog. Okay, let's move on to the 5G actors. There are four main roles that can be played by whoever uses the 5G platform. First of all, of course, is the vertical. The vertical is whoever wants to run the experiment, so he has the knowledge of the service that they want to test, what service level agreements must be reached, what various components they need to assemble it. There's also a very specific, I would call it a sub-role, which is the vertical's VNF provider. And this is whoever provides the virtual network functions that are used in the experiment. Could be the vertical itself, it could be also a subcontractor of the vertical that develops these VNFs. And then there's the experiment developer. The experiment needs to have a knowledge of the 5G infrastructure. It's got to know about blueprints, network service descriptors. I will say a little bit about these things in the coming slides. Then there's the experimenter. The experimenter is the player, the actor that is responsible for actually running the experiment, and also to assess the results, analyze the results. So it defines the experiment, starting from the blueprint, and then schedules and requests the execution and monitors the execution, and then performs the final analysis. Finally, the third role is a site manager. Each of the four sites listed before have managers that are responsible for the running and the proper functioning of the infrastructure and the administration of the 5G site. The testing cycle runs through four main steps. Experiment design, which involves all three roles that we have listed before. Then there is the experiment preparation that involves just the experimenter and of course a site manager that has to give a feedback on whether everything is running smoothly, and if there is a problem, it must come up with a reason why things are not working. Finally, if this is working, we just go into the execution and monitoring, which is done completely by the experimenter, and finally the analysis of results. The first step is the experiment design. The experiment design is basically assembling the various components of the experiment, identifying the target execution environment. For example, if you want to have it indoors or an outdoors environment, the kind of propagation emulation you want to have, and so on. You define here the VNF packages that you want to string together, the network service descriptor that tells you how the networks are supposed to work, and then you define the blueprints. The blueprints are the next big topic that you have to keep in mind. What is a blueprint in the 5G jargon? The blueprints are sort of templates. They define high-level features of services, execution environments, and the experiment itself. These blueprints also have some variables and parameters that the experimenter can set, and during the experiment preparation, of course, for the purpose of tuning to specific experiment instances. Once you have filled this blueprint with the experiment value, then you have what we normally call the experiment descriptor, which is like the go-ahead file that allows you to really start working on your experiment. To design the experiment, you need three types of blueprints: the vertical service blueprint, the execution context blueprint and the test case blueprint. They are crucial to define the components of the service, the condition of the experiment, and the required step, each step through which the experiment must go. Okay, so now very quickly, I'm also going to show you some screenshot from what you expect to see from the portal. So the very first step, experiment design. Once you access the portal, you're presented with a screenshot like the one you see here in this slide. And here, this is where you get to select the target 5G environment. At this point, you have to perform the onboarding of the VNFs that you have designed, that you have prepared. And this basically means uploading what is a VNF image, for example, then the VNF descriptor, and any additional files that you may require. Okay, creating blueprints for your experiment can be done. There is also in the 5GE portal a sort of wizard to help you create your blueprints and to validate them. The next step is the experiment preparation. The experiment preparation goes through, well, you have two possibilities here, basically. Either you can access an experiment descriptor wizard, which is the one in this screenshot shown by the red arrow. The wizard will guide you through all the steps required to create the various descriptor of the experiment. So the vertical service, the context and test case blueprints that I mentioned before. Or you could, for example, choose the intent-based interface, which is the one pointed at by the blue arrow here. The intent-based interface is meant to give you the chance to describe your experiment using a natural language. So you can get to define the site, the relevant parameters, the customized experiment. For example, I want to experiment with RS2T in Turin on January 26th at time 11 a.m. I want to use 5 devices, and I want to use a load equal to 10, and this experiment must last for 40 minutes. And this is a very nice way of defining your experiment without having to go through, because you may already set up some strings and just copy and paste them and run many experiments after that. And then next, you schedule the experiment. Scheduling the experiment means choosing a time slot, and wait for the environment preparation, which is now the part that for which the 5G site manager will take care. Now we are ready to build the environment and execute the test. So you would click on the red square manage experiments, and at this point the experiment is ready to run. You would be shown a screenshot like this one, where you get a list of the experiments that are either in preparation or are ready to go. If they are still in preparation, then they will show instantiating. If they are ready to run, the status listed here, for example, in the screenshot, would be changed to instantiated. That means you can run it. You can run it, and then you would click on the arrow on the right side of the slide and then run the experiment. And as the experiment is running, you get to check the statistics of the experiment results. You could compare the KPIs of the experiment currently running with KPIs run with similar in a similar experiment, but with different settings, and you can fine-tune your service configuration. So to summarize, this is in a very quick overview how you would streamline your experiment workflow. Start from creating your blueprint, and then this is done at the beginning. You can either use, as I said before, a wizard on the 5G portal, or after you become skilled with it, you're going to do it on your own. You create the experiment descriptor, describe the various steps, and finally you request the experiment to be scheduled. At this point, the site manager will either accept or reject, giving you the reason why it doesn't work. Maybe there is something wrong in the description of the experiment, something wrong in the blueprint, or that day there's monitoring on the 5G side, so it can be run. But most of the times it would just be accepted. And when it is accepted, you will be shown, as I showed you before, the experiment as instantiated, so you're ready to go. At this point, you deploy the experiment, you run the experiment, and you test, and you analyze your results. Okay, so this is pretty much from my side.
Okay.
Of course, if you've got any questions.
Claudio, that's it's really clear that the platform on 5G is really focused on running experiments, really straightforward and easy to use. So thanks for that. Of course, your questions from everyone are welcome in the chat box. We'll show you a little bit more on how to actually get involved in a minute. But before that, we're gonna talk to Maurizio Cecchi from Innovation Pew, who's gonna tell us a little bit more about something obviously you guys in the audience know about, but it might be very interesting for you. So Maurizio, can you tell us a little bit about the funding tools for 5G?
Yes.
Development.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Richard. My name is Maurizio Cecchi. I'm one of the partners of the 5G project. I'm in charge of helping the external SMEs, so the non-partners of the consortium, to benefit of the facilities that were described by Mauro before, and Claudio. And because our aim, of course, is not to have a, let's say, self project useful only for ourselves, but basically is funded by European Commission. So we really would like to have other people, other partners using our tools. And we hope also collaborate in future similar initiative. So very briefly, because there is not much time to explain that this project is not really alone, is together with a huge program is called 5G Public-Private Partnership. And 5G Eve is one of the 3 platforms. There are other 2 platforms, the 5G Vini and Genesis, offering similar services. So you will be able to have infrastructure and facilities all through Europe. Of course, the project has been funded by Horizon 2020, as you know, was just finished last year. But we are having Horizon Europe from this year to 2027 with, let's say, similar objectives, and is really a lot of financial resource for new initiatives. So it's just to tell to you that this could be useful for yourself. And as you know, all the project costs are funded 100%. So it's a very favorable, let's say, contribution by the Commission, like 5G. In case of innovation activity closer to the market, the funding for all the costs are 70%. And this percentage will be replicated also in Horizon Europe. So first of all, we say that these are kind of programs where the SMEs can apply directly. So you don't need to go to your government or regions, so you can apply directly. Very briefly, how it is structured, the new program. The program that started the last 1st of January, Horizon Europe, is a 7-year program. and is structured in pillars. There is a pillar more on the science part, managed by the European Research Council, but also, let's say, a researcher movement are funded, and all the infrastructure like ISPRA and many other institutions unfunded by this pillar. The one that I guess are much more, let's say, interesting for you as attendees, as participants, is the second pillar that is divided in the different, let's say, sector of research, health, culture, and so on. And the cluster 4, digital industry and space, is where all the new call of tender for ICT are there. So the suggestion is to follow the Commission portal, but you can simply go through Google to find all the evolution of the call of tender of this digital industry cluster. And then there is another pillar, let's say, more for institution, the European Innovation Council, institutes of the Commission, and so on. But really, the suggestion is to focus on this cluster 4 of pillar 2. But you can also apply, for instance, if you have really long-term ideas, you can supply your idea to the European Innovation Council. It's a very competitive, let's say, program, but there are part of the project really only for SMEs. So it's a kind of condition that puts external SMEs in a favorable condition, because there is this condition officially stated in the call of tender. So very simple, of course, these programs like the 5G PPP and now become smart network and sensors are very, very complex animals, because, of course, there are different work program, calls of tender, and all the work is done in parallel to the evolution of the standard of the regulatory process. Of course, as you know, 5G is fully, I mean, in these years, in these tender actions to assign frequency. But of course, everything should be done in accordance to the policy of Commission in terms of human social events. So this is a very complex picture. I don't want it, and we don't have time to explain. But just to, if you have an idea, try to place it knowing what is happening in this kind of trend. So what can you do? First of all, I would, if you are not, let's say, familiar with this, there are all the documents like the legislative package, so you know exactly the terms of the contract and so on. The Commission already published a strategic plan on Horizon Europe, so you can download very easily by Google, just put a strategic plan Horizon Europe. And then the Commission is preparing the work program, so it means exactly which kind of technologies can be funded in each call. And these calls are published, as you know, are open, so there are consortiums formed by industries, institutions, SMEs, and they can apply directly in this call. Everything is very simple, is in, let's say, done in a telematic way, but of course, it's competitive. So your idea must be really innovative and must really convince the evaluators. All the, let's say, preparation part is concluded. So we are really in this frame of, in the last part on the right, on the preparation of the call of proposal that will be published shortly. Just to give an idea of the items, the topics that will be funded, of course, are all the technologies, the new technologies. Of course, you cannot present something that is already on the market. So we'll go a lot towards zero latency internet, tactile internet, a lot of artificial intelligence should be shown, because, as you know, is one of the main drivers of the future. Internet of sense, how to extend your sense on internet. on native edge architecture. But also, if you have specific components, there will be a part of next generation IoT devices. And these, of course, for hardware companies. And last but not the least, the two parts that were a little bit weak in previous programs, according to some comments of the Parliament, will be appreciated a lot. Projects showing energy efficiency in end-to-end platform, friendly infrastructure, but energy is becoming really a bottleneck for the evolution of this kind of platform. This will be a focus. And security, converged network, cloud, and IoT. And also here will be requested a lot of, let's say, contribution from artificial intelligence, science and technologies. So this is just a hint, but of course, you can expand this idea on the document of the Commission. But please know that there is a specific action that is called Smart Network and Services Program. So this is a sub-program of Horizon Europe. It is becoming really a formal sub-program, so with the approval of the different government and state members. And it represents the community of all people that are interested in this kind of technologies and projects. You can go there, apply, there are newsletters, is really transparent, and you can easily find a lot of information. And of course, the members are industry, SMEs, research community. Everything is published. These slides will be available after this event, so you can go there, because there are all the tools and information that are needed to build a new proposal. From our side, from 5G, we already started this action to help you to use our facilities. Of course, the technicalities were presented before by Claudio, but also to present your idea for future collaboration. If you go on the 5G website, just you can simply type 5G EVE, EU project that you find on Google. And you will find a part under the menu Be Involved, Get Involved. So through this menu, and this is the specific link that is activated, there is a platform that is organized to receive your inputs. So in case, for instance, you want to exploit your application, your service, and you think that this could be included in future collaboration with the partners of 5G, of all the large industries, telecom operators, suppliers, you can go there and submit your idea. It's very simple. It takes 15 minutes, and it will allow us then to help start collaboration in similar initiative as 5G. This is very shortly what is in line, but as I said, everything is on our website and on the portal. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Maurizio. It's really clear that there are a lot of opportunities to build on what's happening in 5G. Our community is really focused on that. We want you to get involved with us. And when we do develop the next proposals for Horizon, we want you to be there with us too. So go to the 5G EVE website and follow the Get Involved link. Our final session in the morning, in the first half of this event, is giving you a little bit more information on how to get involved with us and connect to the 5G infrastructure. And that's with our technical coordinator, Manuel Lorenzo from Ericsson. Manuel, please tell us a little bit more about how people and companies and the SMEs on the call can get involved with us.
Thank you so much, Richard. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm taking care of the technical management of the project, and we are so glad to be in this business of helping vertical applications to become a reality by using real 5G over an experimentation facility. I think this is super important. If you have an application, if you have an idea that relies on 5G and you want to validate it, then you can start, of course, a number of activities on your own, and you can even try to have a commercial agreement with an operator to do some testing, and you can try different alternatives. But something that you can do, and this is the main reason for this event today, is to simply partner with us, because you can benefit from the experience we have in a number of use cases enabled by 5G and actual experimentation. We are in that business of supporting you. So this is reinforcing the invitation for SMEs to work with 5G and 5G partners. Of course, we have a better presence in the 4 markets that we have been explaining in France, Greece, Italy, and Spain. We can be very close to you in these countries and cooperate directly. And the important thing is that we get to know what you want. Of course, we went through some explanations on what to do when you are already experimenting, how you can apply for funds. I want to say that based on the experience of working with a number of SMEs along these years in the different labs, making up the constellation of 5G, what really matters is that people talk to people, that you can, of course, explain, pitch your idea. And the system, the 5G system, is designed for you to bring your application and test it. So it's a natural flow of things, starting with your idea. Of course, formally, you can go to the 5G portal. You can fill out simple templates, basically check a box to prove that you are not a robot, and then we'll contact you back. And that's how we have done with a number of companies, and that has triggered a number of interesting projects. What we can say is that the dialogue with you is important before triggering the project. It's good that you figure out what you can do with your applications, with your devices, with your solution, and we can really support you in making technological and architectural decisions and even designing your strategy. With that, it is important in our experience that you get a good link, not only with the 5G project, but with your local contact in the site that you have decided to run your experimentation. So if this figure, we call it the site manager, and it really simplifies your work and your planning. It's important for us to be able to schedule the tests and the activities in our labs, being shared with a number of projects. So the collaboration, the direct collaboration of your company with our local site managers will be a key success factor for your activity. What we think is that it should be as simple as possible for you to start testing. We went over some principles of the platform where you can basically use a testing as a service platform like 5G. It is the same platform regardless the site you select for running your experiments, but you can find specific 5G capabilities of your major interest in the different locations where 5G is operating. So you can combine the best of both worlds, a simple and common user interface and the local 5G capabilities that you would like to use for experimentation. That's important to remark in this presentation. So it's basically about you. We make things simple to happen. With some companies today, we established a link in a matter of weeks, and we got to work. And of course, the vehicle for that cooperation, you can decide with public funds, with your own investment. We have the platform open until end of June, and the sites will be sustained over time after that period. So just activate the process, contact us, and we'll find the best way to support you with the experience we have accumulated. And that's basically the message we wanted to give you. Thank you.
Excellent, Manuel. That's really encouraging for the people on the call to know that not only what Mauro said is, you can get in through the right through the web page, the Get Involved section of the web page. But then it's important to know that there are people there, and the site that can really give some information that people might need. Let me just show you one slide again, which is, I think you're. I believe you're seeing the contacts. Sorry, I disappeared. No, sorry. My computer's going on its own. It has a mind of its own, which is. I'm sorry, I can't control it anymore. It's gone on. it's too many things. Oh, there's where I wanted to be anyway. So I wanted to let you know you can see these. Oh, sorry, someone else took control. The list of people there are, yeah, that one, thanks. So these people, you can contact any one of these people for the various topics related to the presentations today. You can, we will put the slides and the registration on the 5G website too, so you can go back and reference the things that Manuel or Maurizio or Mauro have been, or Claudio have been talking about today. And we can respond to your questions offline, or if anyone has any questions right now, you can just raise your hand. Mete, if you can enable anyone's microphone who might be interested in asking any particular questions. So, for example, Maurizio, what is the time frame look like for people going to get involved with the experiments? How long is that going to be open?
For, let's say, the part of, let's say, the online submission that I mentioned to you is open now, and of course will be open till the end of June, till the 30th of June of this year. So you have time. Of course, sooner you submit and more chances is to be, let's say, evaluated and to start collaboration. This regarding the 5G platform and the submission of your ideas and proposals. Regarding new collaboration for the future, the Horizon Europe Smart Network program that I mentioned, the call will be published around April. So you will then apply for new funding. That means really financial resources for at that time. But for 5G ideas, so is the preliminary activity is open till the 30th of June.
Oh, okay, perfect. Thanks a lot. Does anyone in the audience have any initial questions, or can we move to the drive portion of this? what we will do is we will now share a link. My colleague Alessandra will share a link in the chat box. And if you go to the chat box right now, you can click on this link, and that will take you to the Mural application, where we will hold the next session. So there won't be any presentations in the classic sense, but there will be presentations using this collaborative whiteboard. What's going to happen here is the first session will look at 4 innovative SMEs using 5G technologies. So you can follow that, and then we'll have some work together. I'd like to invite my colleague Alessandra to give a description of what you're seeing and field some common questions that might come up as far as using stuff. So Alessandra, can you tell us a little bit about what we're seeing and what people need to do to use the tool, to zoom, to focus, to follow, and what they expect them to do when they will be voting?
Sure. Hello, everybody. So I'm just going to share my screen if anybody has issues in connecting with Mural. So you will have a good view of what we are talking about. So let me see. Do you see my screen?
Yeah.
Perfect. So as you can see, Mural is a digital whiteboard where we can brainstorm on some topics. Today we are talking about 5G infrastructure and new developments. On the left-hand side, you will find a lot of features. So insert icons, shapes, images, whatever you want to add. And on the right-hand side, you will find an outline. So if you click, for example, on Overview, you will have a little bit of introduction of the objective of our session, as Richard was explaining you before. So let's get started. So you will see we will have 2 steps. The first step will be focused on the 4 SMEs we have been discussing about during the last day, the latest days, and they are going to present their ideas and their products about 5G and how they could let's say develop new products and new solutions with the use of 5G infrastructure. The second step would be a group brainstorm. So we will guide you through 4 different sub-steps, let's say. We will ask you for some interesting questions on 5G infrastructure. We are going to guide you to write down some applications ideas and vote for the ideas you like the most. So before giving back the floor to Richard, I'm just going to show you see here. So you will see all the 5G infrastructure features, the most important ones, and we are gonna then go through the presentations from the SMEs. Going down, you will see, as I said, the group brainstorm where we will guide you. So afterwards, when we will arrive at the voting session, I will explain you how to vote. It's going to be very, very easy, so you shouldn't be having problems with that. That's it. So back to you, Richard.
Okay, thank you very much. So now what we're going to do is we're going to hear about a couple of interesting 5G players, stakeholders with their applications for 5G and how they're taking those forward. The first is Victor Berghald, who's the program director at Digigroup. And Victor, I'd introduce you and I'd like you to take the floor and describe a little bit about what you're doing. Now, the people in the call can zoom and follow Victor in the yellow boxes in the top part. you can move around and drag and drop drag the mural around, and you can zoom using the zoom pane down in the lower right corner, or you can use your mouse wheel to zoom in and out of the mural as you follow Victor. So Victor, please, the floor is yours. You have 5 minutes to tell us about what you're doing with 5G.
Hello, everyone. My name is Victor. I am Program Director of Innovation and 5G Networks in Gamma Solutions. Gamma Solutions is an engineering company that develops products, services, and solutions in the energy and telecommunication sectors. We are involved in very important projects related to 5G, renewable energy, smart grids, and smart cities. For example, we are involved in a national project, in a 5G pilot project here in Spain, where we are to develop a 5G standalone network in the millimetric waves. Afterwards, we are going to use that network to deploy some use cases that intrinsically related to the future of 5G. For example, we are going to develop a mixed reality application applied to surgery and medical training. We are also that we are going to deploy an application with mixed reality to smart tourings, and an application for autonomous and remote driving by using cloud or edge computing. What we expect from 5G is what the standard is claiming. So we expect a lower latency, higher bandwidth, a higher density of connections, and faster speeds of the users. This is what we, from our experience within this project, the main challenge is to couple the evolution of the technology with our use cases. So we expect to work in millimetric waves. So, but we don't have enough terminals and CPEs to work with. So we have, from our perspective, one of the main challenges right now is to collaborate among governments, telecom industry, and manufacturers to speed up the deployment and the development of 5G terminals and 5G technology according to the evolution of the standard. The technical challenges are with the higher bandwidth and with the low latency. Firstly, the standard claims network latency is below 10 milliseconds, from about 1 to 2 milliseconds, which is very challenging, which is a very challenging latency. And also a higher channel bandwidth to be able to allocate higher or bigger application in terms of the user data rate. For example, mixed reality in real time, or an immersive mixed reality in real time needs too much user data rate, more about 1 gigahertz of user data rate, and latency is below 10 milliseconds in an end-to-end application. So in the user application layer, in our project, what we are going to test is if we are able to achieve those KPIs to be able to provide to the market those applications and obtain our return or investment. This is how we do with right now with 5G networks. Related to the project, there are also other business lines related, for example, with 5G private networks and other examples. Another important question is if we are going to have bandwidth, a spectrum for industrial use without license, in order to be able to avoid the dependency with a mobile network operator. This is what we are talking about, is the main challenge that we are facing right now.
Okay, that's really great. We're gonna move pretty quickly to the next company, which is represented by Miguel Angel from YBVR. They're doing some real cool virtual reality applications that, of course, they're obviously already doing on existing networks, and they're going to make much better in the future using 5G networks. Miguel, can you tell us a little bit about YBVR?
Okay, thank you, Richard. Let me do a quick resume of our company and the product and the experience with 5G. Our company is offering more than a product. We can offer an experience. You can see in the central square that we are trying to offer in an experience to be there in different sports events, mainly, but also for corporate events, or for product presentations, different situations where you have the advantage to be there virtually through an immersive experience with 360 video. For give this experience and do it personalized, immersive, and interactive, we have deployed a technology that you can see in the left square, where mainly we are doing a production service of 360 video with very high quality. We are talking about video with 8K of resolution. We have developed a streaming platform in the cloud where we optimize this video flow to give the best quality with the less bandwidth possible. And then we need the software in the customer side, in the client, where this optimization with this optimization we create the VR experience on the VR headset, but also is multi-device. We can offer the experience in a smartphone and in a PC browser. It's not so immersive, but you can have some features looking at where you want and having enriched information. And from all this ecosystem, we extract different analytics that can understand what is the behavior of the client and what content is more interesting, and so on. We have this technology in production. In fact, we have a good set of customers, mainly sports events, into sport, mainly tennis, but also another experiences. In fact, with 5G, we have different experiences that you can see below. Is in the lower side, we had developed some cases of benchmarking, comparing 4G and 5G for some telcos and also for some technology vendors. Also, we have collaborated with 5G through Segitur, offering a use case of immersive tourings. In Fitur last year, we offering an experience with Ericsson 5G equipment in a live event from the auditorium, where people can watch can watch the event from another place, and also a portfolio of on-demand VR immersive experiences, visiting different cities from the feature stand. And finally, we are also involved in 5G Induce project, where we are working with ASTI and 5Com in the use case of the immersive AGV control, trying to use virtual reality, use 360 video to control an AGV. Finally, what are the main features that we are taking advantage of 5G? Mainly in the upload, because with 5G we can set the 360 video camera everywhere. We don't need a fiber or a fixed infrastructure. We are needing close to 100 megabit per second per camera for the upload, and then we need the 5G feature for this connectivity. Second part is to use the mobile edge computing functionalities and the low latency of 5G to optimize or to move part of our cloud platform to the 5G infrastructure, then to give a better experience and better quality. And finally, the download, because having 5G in the devices, in the final devices, we can improve the delivery of the video. That's all, Richard.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It looks like 5G, Miguel, is really going to help you move your experience, as you call it, from centralized cloud infrastructures out towards the devices and on the edge. It really looks interesting. And I wish you great luck with that. The next we're going to hear from 5Com with Manuel, who's going to tell us a little bit about their products and what they're doing in the 5G domain. They're developing projects in a number of European projects, and but also on the market. So Manuel, maybe you can tell us a little bit about what you're doing. Maybe for people who were not able to be on the Zoom, maybe you can write again the URL, Alessandra, and also in the chat, and maybe you can zoom just a little more and follow the single squares for people who, for some reason, are not able to get onto the Zoom. But in the chat box, we'll write again now the link. All right, so there it is in the chat box again for people. And if you do have any questions, if you can just write back into the chat box, any technical problems, we'll try to fix that. So Manuel, go ahead, tell us a little bit about 5Com.
Thank you, Richard. Okay, so we are 5Com, an SME that is based in Valencia, in the UPV campus, as you can see here in this top right part of my mural. Basically, we were founded in 2019. And our motto is that we connect machines that benefit humans. Why? I mean, that's our motto because if you take a look to our slide about us, then here we explain that we develop and integrate 5G solutions for different verticals. Basically, we enable B2B market opportunities for the industry. And we have plenty of collaborations with some verticals, such as, I mean, we are focusing mainly on manufacturing, but we are also approaching some verticals such as healthcare, energy, automotive, or media. And how we are doing that, those collaborations in several ways. First, with our products and services, and also with our R&D department. In particular, in the R&D part. We are currently participating in the Spanish Digitalization Network. And most importantly, we are currently collaborating with partners in 5 EU projects. As you can see here, these are the name of the projects. If you want to take a look to them, please go ahead. You can visit their websites. Then our expertise mainly is based on 3 pillars. The first one is that we are 5G experts because we have been following the technology for many years, and so we have been participating also our crew in different projects before. So we are very aligned with the European program. We do partnership. Because we want to do alliances with also industrial and telco players, and because we make 5G flexible. We have a series of products and services that make this available. So maybe you are wondering, what are our services and our products? Well, in particular, let me show you. I have here some services. Basically, we do 5G end-to-end integration. We do radio planning, and we do also consulting. So this is more or less the services we are offering right now. And here, for example, you can see an image of one integration we did this year in Valencia. We have been connecting a robot, and in our offices we have a cockpit that controls the robot through the 5G network that is in the campus. Regarding the products, we are focusing on 3 main products. The first one is what we call the 5Com 5G modem. This is our first product that has been we have been developing, and you can see here an image, an example of the product. We have also, and now currently we are developing a planner for the industry, and also an edge computing platform. So these are more or less the products we have for this for our portfolio in 2021, but of course more products will come. Regarding one question that is interesting to answer is, why is 5G different for us? I would say that in this case, 5G is different because of 4 reasons. First, of course, because it has greater throughput, but also it has lower latency, which is very interesting for the applications we are developing, because it has enhanced capacity, millions of connections per kilometer, per square kilometer. So that's very interesting for industrial scenarios, and also because it has network slicing, which is key for us in order to manage the different verticals we have in mind. So in summary, it is a robust and secure communication. So I would say that our business model, our main business model, is the use of 5G for robots. Here you can see some examples, because a guide robot is simple but is unlimited. An autonomous robot may be a good solution for some scenarios, but of course a 5G connected robot is even better, because you can have an autonomous robot that sometimes you switch and manually you can control via 5G with this low latency and secure communication, which is ideal for the industry applications, of course. And regarding our participation and involvement with 5G EVE, we are participating in the 5G Induce project, which has 3 use cases. The first one is the autonomous fleet management. Then we have the second one, which is the one we are collaborating with YBVR, which is about the gesture recognition. Okay, and then we have a third use case that is more about the use of immersive VR for AGV control. And this, we are doing it in 4 premises in Valencia as an experimental facility. here you have the scenario described in this picture. And also, I wanted to show you a bit the network deployment we are planning to do for these use cases. Here you have the 3 use cases. The partners that are developing the applications to realize those use cases are YB, VR, ASTI, 5Com, and well, for providing this the facility. And then we also have here the 5-tonic solution as our approach to make 5G a reality here in 4 premises. So we have the 5-tonic core in Madrid, and then we will deploy, Ericsson will deploy an experimental facility, the radio part in Valencia, so we can use our modem there and also connect to the network. So the AGVs or the VR glasses and etc. can be connected to the network. And that's more or less what we plan to do in this project that will last 3 years. Thank you.
Really cool. Thanks a lot. I can see the little robots from the 5-tonic test bed. Yeah, it'll be good to see you there with some of the other companies. And I wish you really good luck with your applications.
Thank you.
The final SME is Cesar Martinez from who's the CEO of UTEC, and UTEC is a company that's using 5G technology to make applications on independent remote guided marine vehicles. And Cesar's going to tell us a little bit more about the applications and how they're taking advantage of 5G and what difference it makes for them. So, Cesar, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Cesar Martinez, and I'm representing UTEC. We are expert in the development of unmanned surface vehicles, which are unmanned boats for our applications. Here you are a couple of pictures of our development and some advantages of this kind of vehicles. As the continuous operation, there are no risks for the crews or the reduction in the operational cost. Here you are also our webpage and a link to our YouTube channel. You can get more information. Just let me share with you a few indications about application. There are some of them related with civilian, maritime surveillance, marine research, search and rescue, and so on. There are others related with the defense domain. It's anti-mines, anti-submarine, naval target, and etc. So there's a lot of application of this kind of vehicles. So our first contact with the 5G technologies was in 2019 because we contact people from 5-tonic laboratory here in Madrid, and we perform a demonstration of the control of our prototype, our boat, using the 5G-enabled technologies. It was made in December 2019. It was really was a success. Let me tell you that the communication between the boat and the ground control station are very critical because we have to ensure the safety in the navigation. So, in addition, the use of existing communication infrastructures facilitates a lot the deployment of the system because we normally use the radio frequency links, but it's a very good idea to use existing infrastructures. So the most demanding 5G performance are the low latency, the high availability and reliability of the system, and of course the bandwidth. So our next step are to use the 5G commercial network in a port area to control the boat with our maritime traffic. And also we are open to other collaboration with any other company or entity. So that's all from my part. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. It looks like the low latency, part of the network is most important for you guys. Is that true?
Yes, the answer is yes. The low latency is very, very important. But as I mentioned, the use of existing infrastructure is quite easy to develop the system because at the end we provide the system to the final user, and the communication infrastructure is already operating. is easier to start the use of the whole system.
But you're already doing it. What are you using? Other radio communication technologies, or are you actually using cellular technologies like LTE? And how do you deal with when you get a little bit further from the reach of the cells?
In fact, we use our own proprietary radio frequency communication link. That's that we normally use, but it is very good to have a backup system. So the idea is to use a radio frequency system, and in addition, some link like the 5G communication.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So it's like a different part of the network than what we saw from YBVR and from Gammas. It would be it'll be interesting to see how you guys move forward, and we'll keep your eyes on you. Thanks a lot for your input there. The next thing we're going to do is to ask everyone who's on the call to give their impression of what important features of 5G that can be taken advantage of for innovative applications. You know, the cost of 5G is surely making it prohibitive for the existing market of classical citizen users. And so the machine-to-machine type of applications are going to have to grow and to take advantage of 5G to justify the cost addition. What areas of 5G do you think are most important? So Alessandra, can you tell us about how we are going to make just a group vote on that?
Yes, sure. So I'm going to open the voting session. So I'm just gonna share my screen so you can see it. Just a sec. So you see my screen. I'm gonna start the voting session with this question, and you can select 2 votes, so 2 different selections you can make. So I'm gonna start now the voting. You can just click on the specific circle you want to vote for. I'm gonna just summon your attention. Sorry. Here. So you will go into the first quadrant. You can start voting. You can vote for 2 of these 5 circles.
So if you click on a circle, you will vote for it.
Exactly. I will just click on more capacity and faster access. That's my vote.
Okay. And everyone else can vote too on that.
Yeah, I see that 19 people are voting. Yes, 19 people are voting. So we can maybe give 10 seconds. Let's see. 20 people. That's good. Some more. Okay. So I'm just going to give another couple of seconds, and then I'm closing the votes.
Sure.
Okay.
So the idea for anyone who hasn't voted yet is to maybe give it just a second or 2 more.
Sure.
And these are the the 5G PPP requirements for 5G. And what do you think are the most important of these? And of course, they're all important, they're all interconnected, but if you had to say we can only get 2 of those, what would they be? And leave it open for, a few more people are voting. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So now what can we do? Can we see how went?
Yes, I'm gonna end and I'm gonna show the results. So 9 votes for more capacity, 5 for ubiquitous immersive connectivity, 4 for faster access, and the rest.
And no one thought that the support wide range of apps was one of the most important parts. Okay,
Only 2, yeah.
So and now what you do is you go and take a Post-it from the next block called your ideas for an innovative application in a nutshell, and they're color coded to the 5G PPP requirements. And so if it's more capacity or if it's faster access, lower latency, give us an idea of an application that would be good for you by grabbing one of the little Post-its over there and dragging and putting some application you think is very innovative, and tell us what you think. We'll leave a couple of minutes here and people can actually write stuff now.
Yes, I can put also a timer. Yeah, 2 minutes. Let's see, content is coming. So the different colors are meant to be related to the different 5G features. So it's yellow for more capacity, red for faster access, green for ubiquitous immersive connectivity, blue, light blue for support very wide range apps, and purple for virtualized network functions. All right. One minute left.
Maybe we can give a few more minutes for this, Ale.
Okay. Just a reminder of some of the brainstorming rules. So don't be shy. All the ideas are worth exploring. So please contribute to the discussion. It's gonna be useful for all of us to understand better what could be a nice ideas. Yeah. 30 seconds. Okay, thumbs up. Richard, you get the floor to comment these ideas.
Yeah, so great. I mean, it looks like there's a lot of ideas. I know this is kind of quick, maybe in next time we have a little more time, we can go through these a little bit more, leave a little more time. So how does actually, why do we need 5G for these things? Why do we need the low latency or the virtualized functions of the network? Why do we need the ubiquitous concepts or the capacity? So what in these things, maybe the people who wrote that, Mete, can we open up the microphones? Who says, for example, rural working? How can 5G, what kind of applications could support working in rural communities? Why do we need 5G? Who wrote that? Maybe you can just contribute saying why that's important. Maite, I'm not sure if they can actually, if the participants can actually speak. I don't see their microphones open. I'm not sure that, I'm not sure we have the possibility to open the microphones of the people.
Well, I would say that in for example, in gamified and immersive training, 5G is very important because you need a huge data rate to provide the service to the user in real time, and also a low latency because mixed reality is an application that you have in your head, and you have to synchronize your movement with the real time, with the real environment where you are in. So you need a real low latency just to provide the application that the user can experience a real immersive experience. So this is the two questions of 5G. You know, is a huge data rate that is much higher than the data rate that you can obtain with LTE, and the low latency to provide real-time applications. Without that low latency, and I'm talking about latencies in terms of milliseconds, in terms below 10 milliseconds, to provide that real immersive experience. Just for example, in Turing, or in our use cases in medical surgery. And if we also include gamified training or gamification, what we mean with gamification is that you can touch the 3D model that you are seeing through the mixed reality glasses. So it's a step forward from the application that we can provide right now. So just mixed reality is just an application with very important constraints. So, and if we add gamification and in real time, for example, you have your professor or an experienced a person in Madrid, for example, and we want to train a person in Sevilla, here in Spain, and in real time, in such a way that the people that you are going to train is in synchronization with the professor in Madrid, and just when this alum touch the 3D model, the professor can say, what can we do with that 3D model? What is wrong? What is right? and if it is wrong, how can we solve it?
Yeah.
It is not only for medical surgery. You can use it in any industrial use, for example, in car manufacturing, in car repairing, in construction, in any use case that you can imagine. You can use gamification and mixed reality in real time.
Yeah, I've actually been up to the Fiat Research Centers where they're doing a lot of maintenance, virtual maintenance training using VR, and they're doing it on dedicated networks that are fast enough. But the idea is that, you know, you can push it out to one of your garages or something and do the maintenance there. And I've seen a lot of similar applications for the industrial automation to maintenance, and they work great on dedicated high bandwidth networks that are you know, internal, using internal dedicated networks. But then when you get them in real use cases, like going out into the training the garage owner how to change some particular part of the car, and you put on the VR helmets, I have to admit that it almost makes you sick, the very slight latency. I did it for a couple of minutes, and I seriously didn't feel well afterwards because of the latency problem. But then I've seen it in the labs in Fiat, and it worked great, you know. So moving it out, like you say, moving it out into the field, moving from one guy in Valencia to one guy in Madrid or whatever, showing probably will, if you want to use an open cellular network, if you're obliged to do that, then you would probably need 5G. Yeah, good, definitely true. What about some of these other ones, like video for everything? What is that?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Good morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Stephanie.
First of all, thank you very much. It was a very interesting session, and I propose here the idea of the support in rural areas, because I'm working for an PN agency. In particular, we provide funds, European and regional and national funds to the farmers, and one of the main important parts of our experience is to be able to enable the farmers to enter data in our system through the land parcel identification system, through GIS and so on. So the future of our activity is to reduce the load on farmers, and it could be done through the monitoring, so trying to collect data from other points such as Internet of Things, sensors, and obviously satellite. So the 5G in this evolution and the evolution of agriculture at the European level is very, very important. And we are in a fortunate case living in an area well covered from the 5G connection, from the brand connection point of view, but we have a lot of farmers living in the high mountains, it's located in centers far from the city, with a lot of difficulties, experiences some difficulties in these activities. So I think that 5G can help a lot in this specific case. And the other point I entered here was the blockchain for public funds. It is not a destructive process, but I think that it could be a way in which the farmers could be directly and in a very, very fast way helped in providing their activities, it is a very good return to the information that the farmers bring to the system. And if we think that the population in the future will have an explosion of forecast of 9 billion people in the world, well, the agriculture is a very important sector, and the attention here should be for the well-being of everyone very important. This is my view.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks a lot. Who wrote the unmanned vehicles control? I'll bet that was you, Tech. Is that?
That's right. That's right.
I guess
right.
that. What kind of killer app can come out of this? I was the expert for the European Commission on the Sunrise series of projects that we're doing unmanned vehicle communication in maritime, and it seemed to me that most of the applications were military, or at least dual use. Is that not true?
You are right. Most of them are dual use, but I wrote down that idea because you know that unmanned vehicles, I mean aerial, ground
I think we're losing you, or I'm losing you.
Some maritime vehicles, all application in our lives. Quite important to found new. Sorry. I was saying that the unmanned vehicles are in our lives. I mean the aerial, the ground vehicles, the maritime vehicle, even the subsea vehicles, the submarines. So we need to find new communications link to provide capabilities to interchange a lot of data. I mean, real video images, a lot of information, telemetries, telecommand in a very quick way. So it is quite important, the use of this kind of technologies, the 5G technologies.
Okay. I definitely agree. Can't say anything about that. If you want to take some of the down below, there are some thumbs up and some thumbs down, and you can put them next to the ideas there, and we'll kind of see, you know, what people think are really great ideas. We could have a few more ideas. You can also do that too if you want to take a post-it and put any other ideas in there. I see that no one is using the don't like, this is good. We didn't know if we should put the don't likes in there here, so I'm glad to see that people are not using those anyway. Looks like there's a lot of interest on actually kind of covering it. Then that's good. It looks like there's a good you know, everything. I guess the open interface is probably a component of rather than an application. So a lot of people aren't liking that. That's obviously something very important. I don't know who wrote that. That's going to be clearly an important part of 5G, but maybe not as much application. So I'll actually take a like and put it over there for whoever wrote that. Now everyone's got a few likes. Let's do the last portion of this in the lower right-hand corner and talk a little bit about anything that you guys see as game changers in the business models. So, you know, the fact that telcos are actually earning less and less money from person-to-person communication with 5G, and it's going to machine-to-machine communication, or other types of things like that. Is that going to change the way the business models, especially you guys, the SMEs in here, are you going to be doing something different with 5G, the way you're making people pay, etc., or is it going to be business as usual? You're going to do the same thing you were doing before. So the first thing we're going to do is to vote, just to see what the pulse of here is. So Alessandra, can you go through the vote now? Tell us about that. Give a little more time then.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep.
So I'm going to start the voting session. Oops, sorry. There you go. So the question is, how are the business models in 5G the same as in 4G and LTE? So I'm going to give you just one possibility to select, and then I'm going to start the voting. So I'm going to give you maybe 3 minutes. Okay. So
no disappeared in the red.
Yeah, you're right.
Someone didn't want to vote for no.
So just take into consideration that red one is a no. Okay, 19 people are voting.
Okay, so if you don't have any particular knowledge of the business models that are changing, or you can't vote for some reason, we'll still leave it open for a couple more minutes. You can write something in the chat box if you want. So I see repeat the process to vote. But I guess that was from the last one, sorry.
Yeah, you're still voting.
This is a pretty easy question. So we'll close the voting there.
Yes. Okay. Quite clear. So 10 votes for no and 2 for yes.
Oh, that's surprising. That's very surprising. So the business models are according to this group are the same in 5G as 4G LTE.
No, are not the same.
Are the business models the same? No. Okay, perfect. That's perfect. That's not surprising then. But 2 people said they're the same. All right. So with the post-its below, just answer the question. What is a new type of business model? Just put something in there, just a phrase. And if you were one of the people who said things weren't going to change, so you're one of the yes votes, maybe just motivate, there won't be new business models because companies are already doing it the way they are, or whatever you want to say. So just take a Post-it, anyone that's open, and go and write in there. Okay, any ideas coming in? Any kinds of business models that are interesting? Anyone have seen anything that was kind of outrageous? Okay. If we can have just a little information about this, and maybe take a like thing if you think something's good, and put it in there while we're talking, as we don't have a lot of time left. So maybe this first one, who wrote the cloud new use of platform and services as a business model? Can you describe what you're thinking about? A lot of like for that. A lot of people liking the free bandwidth, like free beer. Okay. What about guys like
I
like our
introduced
SMEs involved? Stefania, you wanted to say something.
I introduced the model of the cloud because it is very different in front of the past where the platforms were inside the organizations, mainly with mainframes and so on. And so the perspective to have platforms, it could be platform as a service or as infrastructures or hybrid models where we can use at the consume on the basis of the needs is very innovative from the business model point of view. And efficiency too. It's very efficient too.
Okay, that's that's definitely true. Is anyone else want to add anything to this discussion here on the business models? Anything people think we need to address? Maybe you didn't get a chance to write something and want to put something in. You can also write anything in the chat box if you want. We'll say it for you if you want.
And also, Richard, we're gonna let this take this open also after the event, so people that want to comment or add other feedback, they can access also after the event for the whole week.
Sure. So you can all keep playing with this and use the URL and get the information. Maybe we can also put some more information in the mural, like the contact information from one of the slides that we were looking at earlier. We've come to actually slightly over the end of our time together. I'd like to give Manuel a chance to say thank you to everyone and kind of wrap up this session. But from my side, before I give the word to Manuel, I'd like to thank you all for your for being here, for contributing so much to participating in the mural, and Manuel, if you can just close for us and make sure that we get people to follow us and follow you and come and visit you and collaborate with us.
Thank you, Richard. Well, I just want to thank all the participants for this. It's connecting people with people what makes innovation happen. And we are doing this online, and we are doing it on a daily basis. So the important thing is that we keep the 5G ecosystem working. It's for benefit of all of us, small and large enterprises and all types of disciplines. It was easy, as I was explaining, to set up a number of cooperations, and more can come. And with that experience, we have improved a lot the 5G platform. And we think that we can support the next wave of projects. So basically, that's our comment. And thank you so much for the organization and for your time for this.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.